Hi you guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're not going to be cooking, we're not in my kitchen, but I did want to sit down and talk about something that is important to me and honestly should be important to all of us. And I wanted to talk about brain health and brain function, and also share 5 foods that are good for brain health. I also want to talk a little bit about World Mental Health Day, which passed on October 10th, and certain things that can help us function better even though we might be going through some anxiety or depression, etc., etc. There's so many different factors that cause mental health to deteriorate or to heal from. So I do want to talk about certain topics today. So before we get into the video, don't forget to subscribe if you are interested in topics like these, whether they are about food, life, or health. Also, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button because that helps YouTube with their algorithm and they'll push my videos out there a little bit more. And now let's get into the video. So as I mentioned, on October 10th, it was World Mental Health Day. That day is important to me because I believe that we need to take better care of our brains as much as we do for our physical bodies. And also when we hear the word mental, we tend to think that somebody's crazy or something, and that's a whole big stigma or controversy around that word. But I want to sit down and talk about it and pretty much say that there's really nothing wrong with having some issues, but also being aware of it and knowing that you can fix it. So to me, I think mental health is all about how our brain functions and reacts to certain situations or things we deal with on a daily basis, whether they are struggles at work, in a relationship, family problems, or even childhood traumas that come back into our adult life. These are all very, very serious topics, and I think the more we talk about them, the more we can heal from the inside, and that will help everybody, and that will really make the whole world a better place, essentially. I think once we are able to work on ourselves from within and heal our own traumas, we can also help future generations. We can help our kids, our nephews, nieces to deal with their daily struggles they may face in school or work, or even bullying at school or on social media. There's so many different factors these days that are affecting our mental health, but we tend to ignore that part of our struggle or that part of our life and instead focus on more superficial stuff. So for today's video, I mainly want to talk about anxiety and depression, and also certain foods that can help our brain to function better. And I know I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist or anything like that. I'm a regular person, but I do believe that food is the best medicine. I understand modern medicine can help, but in my opinion, there's just too many side effects from modern medicine, and you can be taking a medicine for one problem that you may have, but you may get side effects that lead onto other issues, and then you have to take a new medicine. And I just think that's just adding more fuel to the fire. So why not just eat better and choose the foods that will help us, not just for brain function or brain health, but even for our bodies and other issues we may have. Also, if you are going through anxiety or depression or any kind of other struggles that you believe are pretty serious, make sure you talk to someone. Make sure that you have somebody in your life that can really, really listen to you. Surround yourself with people who are very positive so that they can make you laugh. They can always talk about positive things. You can do positive activities. And also, I wanted to focus on pretty much anxiety and depression because I can only speak for myself. I know a lot of people go through anxiety and depression. I know I have, and I wanted to share just a little struggle that I've had. I'm not looking for pity. I just wanted to share it because I think it's important to bring awareness to it, because anxiety and depression can lead on to more serious matters, and it's really best to nip all of that in the bud and be aware of those issues. And once we are aware, we can calm our bodies down, we can fix that issue And by me talking about my own struggles, I think, or I would hope that I can help somebody else and they can come forward and be aware of what struggles they are going through. And everybody goes through a different kind of mental health issue. So let's talk about it. Let's sit and not be ashamed of ourselves or embarrassed that, we may have a problem. There's nothing wrong with that. At the end of the day, we're all humans. We are not perfect. We are all flawed. We all have issues. We have problems we deal with at work or in relationships. Mental health can affect everyone. It doesn't matter what race you are, what gender you are, what age you are. It just doesn't matter. It affects everyone. So we need to think more in a unified way. We all kind of deal with these kind of issues. So we need to sit and talk about it instead of shaming other people about this topic. So right before I started this channel, I already knew that I wanted to start a channel. I didn't know what topics I wanted to cover. I did know that I wanted to talk about things that are important to me and should be important to pretty much all of us. I just did not know how to go about it, what equipment to use, what editing programs to use. I did not know how to edit. I did not know how to film. So there were so many unknowns that I was thinking about, and it was all causing a lot of fear in my mind, and also that fear led on to anxiety. And I can honestly tell you that was probably the worst anxiety I've had in a long time. I was sad for like 2 or 3 days, and I wasn't even sure why I was sad, because at the end of the day, all I know is that I just had to start. I just had to pick up my camera. I just had to learn a new program. I knew what I needed to do, but just to start the whole process was causing so much anxiety, and I wouldn't say depression, but I was pretty sad for a few days. I created so many new fears in my own head, and I was tackling those fears head on, which were pretty much stopping me from moving forward to even start anything. It took a lot for me to even listen to a playback of my own voice or watch a video of my own self. Like it just kind of makes me feel weird even to this day, but I've gotten over that fear now, so I'm better. Also, I've been kind of shy all my life. I have gotten better over the years because of work and just dealing with a lot of different kinds of people. On the inside, I am still a pretty shy person. I did have a lot of good and positive support when I was starting this channel, so all that kind of anxiety and sadness kind of went away once I started and once I was pushed to start this new endeavor. Also, I am the kind of person who self-motivates a lot. I know there are times where I just stop and I get fearful of what's coming, but I did have a lot of self-motivation talks, and I had to trust my own inner voice. Our inner voice will never lead us astray. I promise you, you have to trust it. It is your gut feeling. It is that something in your mind or in your heart or in your gut that is just telling you, just go for it. Or if something is wrong, you have to trust your inner voice. That is pretty much your guide throughout your whole life. As I said, I do get anxiety from time to time, but I am very aware of it. So when I do feel like that, that energy, that bad negative energy is coming on, I just try to calm myself and pretty much focus on the bigger picture or my bigger goals. If anyone watching this video also suffers from even just a little bit of anxiety or sadness or depression or something, let me know in the comment section below how you deal with it, how you tackle those feelings. You just never know who else you can help, who might be also dealing with the same issues you are. So there are many things that I personally do that help me with my anxiety. Exercising for me is a big one. It helps me not only to burn some calories and get a good sweat on, but it really calms my nerves afterwards and helps blood circulate throughout my body and also into my brain, which in turn helps with brain function and better focus. Also, sleep helps a lot. Getting a good night's rest, whether that's 6 to 8 hours or even just a little bit less, you really need it. Your body needs it, your brain needs it. Sometimes we take sleep for granted. Also, I understand that some of us may suffer from insomnia, but besides that fact, we do need to try our best to get a good night's rest. And that will not only help us feel better physically, but I know we all know that mentally we feel so fresh the next day. We're ready to tackle any problems at work, dealing with your annoying boss or annoying coworkers, or even dealing with kids and their problems. Whatever it may be, you just feel fresh and you're able to take on more things in your day. It's really crazy to think how much time and money we spend on our physical appearance, whether that be losing the last 10 pounds that we've gained, or enhancing our bodies, our face, getting surgeries done, and yet we almost refuse to take care of our brain. Our brains literally don't stop. Also, sometimes if I'm feeling too anxious or going through an anxiety attack or something like that, I do like to just sit down in a quiet room and just read a book, especially self-help books. Those have helped me a lot. Something that you are reading that will bring positive thoughts. Surround yourself with positive people who are always helping you get to the next level, who see a potential in you that you may not see in yourself. Oftentimes we just surround ourselves with such negative people, or people who might have problems in their lives, and we just take on their energy, and that can be too much of a stress on our own minds. So surround yourself with people who are always pushing you to do your best. And so those are things that help me, and hopefully they may help you too. But let me know how you tackle your anxiety and how you deal with things, how you try to make it better. So now let's get into the top 5 foods that support overall brain health. So the first food that I want to talk about that supports brain health is avocado. Avocados have high levels of healthy fats that support blood flow throughout our bodies and including into our brains. So add that avocado into your diet. It's also really helpful with weight loss and weight management. The second group of foods that is good for brain health is berries. They can be anything from blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, strawberries, any kind of berries. They provide antioxidants into your body and into your brain. They actually help to reduce inflammation, which helps with better signaling into your brain. And that's based on a recent study done by the Human Nutrition Research Center on Aging. So now let's get into the third type of food that is good for brain health, and that is dark chocolate. Dark chocolate is also good for weight loss or weight management. So keep that in mind if you want to add that into your diet. So what dark chocolate does, it reduces oxidative stress that can be damaging both to our bodies and our brains. Dark chocolate also increases the production of endorphins in our body and our brains that can contribute to having a better mood, which helps with being positive and having positive thoughts. The fourth food item that helps with brain health is salmon, specifically wild salmon. Salmon has a lot of benefits that come from its DHA omega-3 fatty acids that help support the brain tissue. The omega-3 fatty acids also help with brain performance and makes up about 97% of the omega-3 fatty acids inside of our brains. Now, I have already shared multiple recipes and dishes on salmon on my channel, so do check those out. I will also link them below in the description box. And then the fifth and last food item that is good for brain health is specific nuts, namely almonds, cashews, macadamia nuts, walnuts, and also pecans. These specific nuts I mentioned are a great source of vitamin, but these specific ones provide higher levels of DHA, fatty acids that are good for our brain and our brain tissue. Also, a recent study done in Harvard found that people who eat nuts on a daily basis have a 20% lower death rate. So those were the top 5 foods that I wanted to go over that are really good for supporting good brain health. Obviously, there's tons of other foods that you can have and that you can add into your diet that will help with brain function, brain performance, brain focus. That's a lot of brain. That's a lot of brain talk. But before I end this video, I do want to say, if you do suffer from anxiety or depression or really bad depression, where you are thinking about, a lot of negative thoughts, do try to not only find positive people in your life, but try to find help. You know, therapy can be really good, and it can really help by talking to someone who is not going to be judgmental about your issues or your problems, but just give you advice and a proper diagnosis that will help you in the long run. It is really important, I cannot stress this enough, to be aware of what you're going through mentally. There is nothing wrong with talking about it with someone or sharing what you feel, or how your energies may be on a low. Just talk to someone, whether that's professional or just a friend or family member. You know, be around people who are not judgmental, because the more people judge you, the more you will feel like you just can't talk to anyone, and there's always somebody to talk to. So let's stay positive. Let's do things that will help us in a positive way. I will end my video here. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you can take something from it or learn something from it. If, as I said, you guys go through something similar, whether that's anxiety or just a little fear that you may have to start something new, take time to write your thoughts down and ask for help if you need to. But don't feel alone. Don't feel like you're the only one going through these kind of issues. Everybody does. We are human. We're not perfect. And with all of that being said, let me know in the comments how you feel about today's video and what you may do that helps you in your daily life. So with that being said, I will see you in the next video with a new recipe. Until then, be positive.